Hello and welcome back to Sparticus, the man who lives in a trash can. Today we're gonna read Chapter 2. Chapter 2 being A Wide, Wide World. Are you ready? I'm ready. As soon as Spartacus put his 2 feet underground, he collapsed it down, a quite standard physical reaction for someone who has never left their trash can their entire life. The mellow man looked down at him, caressing his chin gently. Perhaps I should teach you how to walk first. And so during an entire month, the mellow men taught Spartacus how to walk, all the basics and all the techniques, from the crawl to the hop demon. And only this short time spent, Spartacus became a master at walking. And so finally, for the first time in his life, he walked out of his dark, dark alleyway to explore this vast, vast world that was extending before him. As he walked along the sidewalk, people would look at him in disgust and get as far as possible away from him. A woman even put her hand over a child's eyes, so he did not have to look at what she considered a monstrosity. Spartacus felt rejected, but very irritated by the people's behavior towards him. "Melloman, why did the people run away from me?" Spartacus asked. The Melloman looked Spartacus up and down before giving him an answer. "Well, it might have something to do with the fact that you're naked." As they progressively walked further and further in the city, Spartacus was looking in all the trash cans he could find, sometimes finding something worth keeping or eating even. His crotch was dangling along in an energetic manner as they finally got to the edge of the city. To the edge of the city, there was a beautiful landscape of green, grassy mountains. Trees were scattered across the land, birds were chirping, small animals were running. It was truly a sight to behold. But Spartacus wondered, where were all the trash cans? He did not need to ask the question, for the mellow man knew exactly what Spartacus was thinking. "There is no need for trash cans in the nature. Anyways goes back to the earth in an endless cycle of death and rebirth. The world holds things much more beautiful than trash cans, Spartacus. Come, let us set on an adventure." The mellow man smiled at Spartacus and extended his little arm for him to take. Spartacus looked down with big, sparkling eyes before smiling back and taking the mellow man's hand. "Yes," was all he answered, and that was all that was needed. They marched on in the wilderness where there was no man and no human contraception. "Say, Spartacus, have you ever seen an animal in your life?" "I have seen squirrels and rats. I knew a rat once. His name was Gerald, and he came and kept me company. We talked every day, and every day he would talk to me about his rat family and how much he loved his little kids. He told me that when they grew up, he would come and present them to me. But one day he just disappeared. I wonder where he is now." The mellow man looked at Spartacus with empathy and put a reassuring hand on his shoulder. They were sitting against a big tree in a forest. The forest felt mystical and peaceful, and Spartacus thought it felt so much better than his uncomfortable and narrow trash can. "Well, Spartacus, I am sure he is doing fine. People come, people go. Such is the way of the world." The mellow man's wise words cheered up Spartacus a bit. His suitcase was resting next to him. Spartacus wondered what it could contain. It must be important for him to carry him around everywhere he went. But Spartacus thought it would be better not to ask. He did not want to pry in another man's business. Again, the mellow man seemed like he had read his mind. "One day I will show you, Spartacus. One day." A sound could be heard coming from up the tree they were sitting against. Spartacus looked up as a squirrel-like creature climbed down the tree, only to jump on Spartacus' head. The mellow man chuckled as he looked up at what he thought was a chipmunk. "Hello, Mr. Chipmunk. How are you on this fine evening?" the mellow man asked. The chipmunk turned its head swiftly towards the mellow man.
"Hey, you mellow man. Been a while since we've seen each other, hasn't it? I'm good, thanks. Got my wife back at home taking care of our kids. Was out here to look for some nuts. You got some nuts?"
Mr. Chipmunk asked. The mellow man smiled. "I do not have any nuts on me, I am sorry. But I am happy to hear that everything is good at home." Small pause. "Say, Mr. Chipmunk, do you know a rat that goes by the name of Gerald?" the mellow man asked. Mr. Chipmunk thought for a second.
"Nope, but I know someone who might. Follow me,"
he said before climbing down Spartacus and getting deeper in the forest. The mellow man got up and followed Mr. Chipmunk, followed by Spartacus. What strange fellow were they about to meet? And so ends Chapter 2 of Sparticus, the man who lives in a trash can. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in Chapter 3. Goodbye.